Yo, what is up, everybody? Jumping here, and today I am on some Nioh 2, and I want to show you guys my extremely simple and also really easy to use, but at the same time, extremely overpowered axe build. I love this build. It is insane. It really is. I knew I was going to make this build because around the end of my time playing Nioh 1, I was going through the abyss. I got pretty far. I got to like floor 500 and something. And then I got bored and I just stopped playing. But I made an axe build around the end of my time playing that game. And I was having a lot of fun with it. So I knew that when Nioh 2 was going to come out, I wanted to try to recreate that build, at least in spirit, because I don't have all the same stuff like I did in that game. But this is pretty close. I mean, this build is super fun to play. Like I said, it's really simple, but it destroys. You will delete enemies and you will dominate bosses, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and now show you what this build kind of does, like the damage and everything, and then I'll talk about all the details once I get back to the menu. Right now I'm in the training area, so we are going to go and smack some of these enemies, and you can kind of see the damage that this can do. So let's go ahead and get a smack in there. You might say, okay, 4,600, that's pretty good. But it gets better, alright? Right there, 9,200. That's just from one hit. I'm doing strong attacks, by the way. And if I can hit one of these guys in the back, which the ninja, a lot of times I can actually hit him. But if I can hit him in the back, for example, I can easily hit him for like almost 16k. It's absolutely ridiculous. But for the most part, it's going to hit extremely hard. Now, that's not the only move. Right there, that was, I'm pretty sure, in the back. That was 12k. Let me go ahead and use another move here. This is going to be Rumbling Earth. And when I do this, it's going to hit for 15k. It's a charge-up move. It has really nice AoE as well. There we go, once again, 15k. I mean, this is like the move you can do to literally just delete anything. As you can see, it has really good AoE because like the ninja was getting behind me, but it did not matter. Okay, right there I got winded. That is something that can happen with this build. So I'm going to talk all about that though once I get into the details. But now I'm going to go back to the menu and I'm going to explain pretty much everything. And then I'll probably run through like a Twilight mission or something to kind of show this off in an actual mission. Alrighty, well, I'm back in the menus now, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable to kind of go over everything in the menu like this. So, let's go ahead and get started. Let me talk about the concept of the build, what it's all about. Basically, this is a low chi build that is taking advantage of the Grandmaster skill, Intensity. What this does is that it will massively boost the damage of our attacks that will reduce our chi to 0 or below. Now, if you were paying attention when I was in the training grounds, my strong attack and Rumbling Earth basically was reducing my chi to 0 every time I did them. And because of that, it was massively boosting the damage of those attacks. And I didn't have to do anything special to get the ability to actually have that happen. I was just able to do a strong attack and boom, my chi is gone. And because of that, it's just doing a ton of damage. Now, there was one thing I have to do, which is I have to use Rage. This helps. This is actually a really important skill for this build, obviously, because it increases your attack strength. That's great. But it also will increase the amount of chi that you use when attacking. So that's going to help us be able to actually just do one strong attack, to be able to deplete our chi completely, or to do Rumbling Earth, and that's going to deplete our chi completely. Now, Lumber Chop is a high stance move that you could also do. This is another really good one, but we're going to have a lot of bonuses for Rumbling Earth, and to be honest with you, Lumber Chop is pretty close range, and you can easily miss this, where with Rumbling Earth, you're not going to miss that attack. It has a really nice AoE to it. Now, the other move that we can use in high stance, because this build is really a high stance build. It's very simple. We're doing like, not that many moves, but we're doing enough. But the point is that this is a move you can use. It's a little bit risky because it kind of has like a longer animation, but it's a nice little combo that can do a ton of damage. And it's really good for actually applying an element to an enemy if that's something you're trying to do. Now, real quick, when it comes to all these skills, let me just kind of tell you what I have. For the most part, I have nothing but passives. I went for every passive I could possibly get besides the ones that increase my chi. You don't want these. Not at all. Obviously, you want to max out Rumbling Earth. That's important. I went for Mad Spinner because even though this isn't a Mad Spinner build, which is actually fairly popular with the axe, I want to say that most people who play the axe probably will try to make a Mad Spinner build. The thing is that we can still use this. There are ways to play around with it. So I like to have it just because why not? But yeah, once again, just more passives. That's what it's really all about. We have Rage. I went ahead and grabbed Battle Focus, but that's more for the Mad Spinner idea. So what I like to do is I like to go to mid stance, and on mid stance, I'll have Battle Focus. So if I want to use Mad Spinner, I'll actually use Battle Focus, and on my Mad Spinner, I actually have it customized so that it will cost less chi to use. That way I could spin, like, more. That's what Mad Spinner is all about. It's all about spinning as many times as possible, and by the time that, you've done it for a little bit, you start to spin so fast, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the skills. Like I said, most of it is passives. The main things that we're doing here are strong attacks, Rumbling Earth, we can do Heaven and Earth, do basic attacks, but those attacks are going to hit so hard that you're just going to absolutely obliterate everything. Now let's talk about the set bonuses and the gear. The main set that we're using here is the Kintaro set. This is the Grandmaster Axe guy. So for the majority of my new game playthrough, I was using the Obsidian set, which is another axe set. But once I actually got to the Grandmaster level, I was able to farm Kintaro until he dropped his smithing text. That's something I normally would recommend to just forge everything. But once you get to New Game Plus, you could also just farm him in the dojo until you can actually get the full armor and the weapon and everything to make the build work. Now this set is really good for what we're doing. We're going to get a damage bonus for Rumbling Earth of 20%. That's awesome. Also, we get a 15% damage bonus to strong attacks. That's amazing as well. We get increased attack and defense with the axe, 45. That's awesome. We get life. We get minus damage taken. But unfortunately, we get battle focus duration, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do. Battle focus will make it so that you will use less chi to attack. That is not what we want. We want to use more chi. So we want rage. Now, one nice thing is that the obsidian bonus is actually rage. And the rage duration is actually the 2-piece bonus. So, if you do have the Yazakani Magatama, which you're guaranteed to get this once you have beaten New Game Plus, but once you have this, you can technically put on 1 piece of the Obsidian Knight and then get that rage bonus. That's really the only kind of annoying thing, is that you're going to have to constantly be buffing yourself with rage with this build, and having that increased duration is really, really nice. But I really don't have anything I could sacrifice to put that on. It's up to you. The question comes down to, do you want to have the strong attack damage or do you not want that? If you don't care, because to be honest with you, even without the strong attack damage, your strong attacks will hit so hard that you'll kill everything super quick. It doesn't really matter. So if you are getting annoyed by your rage duration, you can go ahead and put on 1 piece of the Obsidian Knight, and it should be fine. Now, just real quick, I'll let you look at my Yazakani Magatama to see what I have on it. The main thing here is actually the life recovery. I really like that. So I would recommend that on both your accessories and your chest piece, because sometimes when you hit like certain enemies, they'll just release a ton of Amarita, and you can just absorb so much health from that. It's really nice. I have the defense bonus magic. That's great. You're going to notice I have a lot of magic power too. Really, the reason why I have that is because I want my buffs to last as long as possible. I want my sloth talisman and my weakness talisman to last as long as possible. I definitely, enjoy that. Also, I like to play co-op, and because of that, when you're in co-op, the enemies are more resistant, but when you have a lot of magic power, they won't resist it. 1 sloth, 1 weakness talisman, it will apply it, and it will last for a decent amount of time. And if you're wondering why I'm using the lightning talisman, it's just because I have lightning damage on this Magatama, basically. Now, my other accessory is the Wise General's Pill Box. This one is actually kind of interesting because whenever we use medicine, we are going to get faster chi recovery. That's great. That's what this build's all about. Low chi, but really good chi recovery. And then for the most part, it's all the same. The only difference is I have extended elemental weapon, which I like that a lot, but I could take it off. But it really doesn't matter. I don't care. Now, when it comes to like the other set that I'm using here, which is super important for this build, I'm using the Sonata Crimson set. This set is awesome. The 3-piece bonus is never winded. Whenever you run out of stamina and you're in the process of attacking, if you get hit, you're going to get knocked on your butt. And that's annoying. With this set, we have a 50% chance of that not happening. So, that's pretty amazing. For the most part, it triggers all the time. You just don't know it when it's triggering. You only notice when it doesn't trigger, when you get knocked on your butt. But it is a 50-50 chance. And more times than not, if you're getting lucky, you're just never going to get knocked on your butt. And that is awesome. Now, just in case we do get knocked on our butt, we will have faster winded recovery. That does not stack. You only need it once. But that does help a lot. Because if you do get winded, you will recover pretty quickly. Now, I'm going to let you look at my bonuses on my armor. You're going to notice that every piece will have like inheritable attack. That's actually like important. I'm going to talk a little bit about that just in case somebody doesn't know on how you do that. But this build is not completely optimized. I could make it better. I just don't have the time and I just don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, the chest piece has that life recovery on there. That is awesome. Also, the chest piece can get that damage taken critical. That can really save your life. It's really nice. And here are my boots. You can see that. The same with this purple effect. You can only put this on once. It doesn't stack, so just only have it on once. And yeah, you're going to notice I have a lot of magic power on here. It is what it is, whatever. Toughness is nice for this build, by the way, because you don't want to get stunned. That's what toughness does. It makes it so that you don't get stunned nearly as much. Now, the gloves. This is important because what you can do to optimize your build is you can actually sit there and forge gloves. The best one to forge is the Shinobi Gauntlets. They're the cheapest. You forge them over and over again, and you have to get to divine, forging. So you just forge them, and then you hope that you can get an inheritable skill, white or orange, because they actually introduced a new mechanic, which is the orange inheritable, which is awesome. But you get white or orange of something that you really want. It could be attack, and then, what you do is you actually can dupe it with a friend. Basically, this has been around since Nioh 1, but what you can do is you can go ahead and get an inheritable skill that you want to pass along or you want multiple copies of it. You equip that, take off the rest of your armor besides that particular piece, have a weapon on, and in this game, you actually have to level sync. I think that's something you have to do. I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say you have to level sync the mission. Then you go into a mission and you kill yourself. Then you have your friend join that mission and try to find your dead body, your revenant. And if they do, what you can do is you can go ahead and summon the revenant, kill the revenant, hope that you get the drop, and then go to the shrine, save it, and then you close the application, load it back up, and guess what? The revenant is going to be there again, and you just do that as many times as it takes to get as many copies of that inheritable skill. If it's white or orange, it does not matter. So let's say that I actually did that, and I had an inheritable skill that I want to copy. Well, then I just ask my friend to help me with that. I first give it to my friend, then he does the same thing, and I farm his dead body, and then I get multiple copies of that skill. And then once I max out the familiarity, I can pass that skill to all my armor. So basically what I'm saying here, to fully optimize this build, what I could do is I could get either Rumbling Earth damage or I can get Rage duration and put that on every single one of my pieces of armor, which would be insane. Also, I could add the orange inheritable to each piece of armor as well. If you actually pay attention, there's one little slot there that's not filled in. If you have an orange inheritable, you can actually add that to your armor to get that extra skill on there. So that's amazing. But like I said, honestly, I just don't care enough. If you really want to mid-max and maximize, then that's something that you should do. But if you don't care like me, it's a lot of work. I'm going to be honest. It's a lot of RNG, and it's a lot of work. Now, when it comes to like the guns and stuff, I have the Warrior of the West bow on just for the life. That's it. Mainly, I just use the gun. Now, normally, I would recommend having agility damage bonus on because that will benefit everything for you. But I have damage bonus, enemies defeated. I'm pretty sure that one works. The other one that also works for your actual melee weapon is equipment lightness. That works. But I cannot take advantage of that. I have a lot of heavy armor on, so obviously equipment lightness, that's no good. Agility damage bonus, that's no good because I'm actually overweight. So damage bonus, enemies defeated is pretty much the best thing that I can possibly use. You see the little icon there? I'm pretty sure that little icon means that that's universal. So, that's a way to tell. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe that's just the base attack. I don't really know. But if you actually look, like item drop versus humans, that little icon is there. So I'm assuming that just means it's a universal skill. And same with the damage bonus, enemies defeated. Actually, let me take a look. Yeah, I want to say that's right. That little icon basically means that it's universal. I never even noticed that before. I'm just noticing that now. So that's actually kind of cool. But like I said, that's why I have what I have. Now, the spear I have on, that's just for the Sonata Crimson set. I need that on. I do actually use this sometimes. I do like this spear, It is fun. I love spear. Spear is another weapon I really, really love to use. It's a lot of fun to play with. Now, the weapon itself. So this is what I have on if you want to take a look. The main thing is, you want to remodel the weapon to have stamina scaling A. Also, I have attack bonus stamina A+. I have rage duration on here. I inherited final blow damage. Final blow damage is better than grapple damage in my opinion, just because you're going to get a lot more final blows than you probably are grapples. But then again, I don't know. Against yokais, I guess you get more grapples now. High attack break, that's mainly for if I'm farming human enemies, because if a human blocks you, that's what break does. It's the amount of damage you do to their blocking you. And high attack break is good because I'm always in high stance. Melee chi damage, that's great. The imbued lightning of this weapon, it's kind of whatever. I buff it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Also, the base attack of your weapon actually matters a lot, like the starting base. And this particular axe has a really nice starting base attack. So that's really cool. Now, let me actually talk about this real quick because I haven't really talked about it yet. I'm actually overweight. I'm in the yellow. Now, I have a lot of chi recovery, so it's not really a big deal. But I'm doing that on purpose. Whenever you're overweight and you're in the yellow, which is C agility, your attacks are going to cost more chi to actually use. And that's going to help me be able to do a strong attack and deplete all my chi, or to do Rumbling Earth and deplete all my chi. So that's why I'm overweight. But also, I get some benefits for that as well, because of my clan. I guess I'll quickly talk about that. I'm not going to go to the Hidden Tea House, honestly. I'm in the Toto clan. What that does, I guess technically I can go to status though and kind of show that, if I can find it. What that does, one thing it does, it gives you damage bonus equipment weight. So that's how much the overall weight of my equipment is. My equipment is heavy. So I have an A for damage bonus equipment weight. That comes from the clan. And also I have change to life stamina. And that should be A as well. I'm trying to find that. Yeah, there it is. Life bonus stamina A. That's all from the Toto clan. That's a clan where it's all about heavy armor. It's a really good clan. I used it in Nioh 1 a lot, mainly because once you got to the super end game and you were doing the Abyss, you kind of needed heavy armor and a lot of life. So if you had 200 constitution, 200 stamina, heavy armor, you were going to be able to tank some of the insanely overpowered attacks that the enemies had, like in the abyss at like level 500. It was absolutely ridiculous. But let's actually talk about my stats, everything that I pretty much went for here. Now, the main thing is, if you're not level 300, which I'm assuming a lot of people might not be at this point, the main stat to get is stamina. That's the first thing you want to get. Magic, you can leave magic at 30 for like the longest time. You might notice I have 99 magic, but that's because I want as much duration for my buffs. I want to be able to slough enemies in co-op and have it last for a long time. That's why my magic is maxed out. If you don't want to max out your magic, you don't have to. That's just something I personally prefer. I have 10 dexterity because I am using one ninja item. It's super good. I love it. So I put 10 into dexterity just so I can equip a bunch of it. I have 28 strength. Strength is a little bit of scaling. I can get a little bit more damage, but honestly, I don't care. I have 28 in that stat though because of my spirit. You'll see that in a moment as well. 18 constitution. I could lower that down if I could get the smithing text for the Sonata Crimson set. I actually got that from a drop. If I was to forge it though, it will have the requirement that it would take to actually equip it. Right now it takes me 18 constitution to equip it, so technically I could take off 9 points probably off of constitution and put them somewhere else, but I don't really care. The heart, although this is a low chi build, I have to have 7 heart for the Wise General's pill bottle, whatever that is. It's the accessory. That requires 7 heart, so that's why I have it. And I have 1,000 chi. It's a nice even number. That's pretty cool. And I have a crap ton of courage. Now, the axe does scale with courage, so that's great. But also, that's chi recovery. We want as much chi recovery as possible, okay? Because we want to be able to get our chi back. Remember, we're overweight, so our chi recovery is pretty crap normally. But with the barrier talisman and also having a lot of courage, it's really not a problem. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Guardian Spirit. Now, my main Guardian Spirit is Tenji. This is my favorite one in the game, and honestly, this was my favorite one in Nioh 1 as well. Mainly due to the stance-based Amarita bonus. So whenever you absorb Amarita, you're going to get a bonus depending on the stance you're in. If you're in mid stance, you get defense. If you're in low stance, you get chi recovery. But in high stance, which we're like 99% of the time in high stance, you get an attack increase. And that's one of the reasons why this build is simple. That's why I say that, is because we go into high stance, we do strong attacks, we can do some light attacks, we can do heaven and earth, we can do rumbling earth, and that's basically it. Like, that's what we do. Like, that's what we do, but we dominate. We absolutely destroy everything. But this is a perfect spirit, because getting that attack increase is amazing. Now, the thing is that you might be wondering, well, how good is it? It's really good. I was actually doing some testing. I never even tested it before, today actually. And I was using a katana, and my hits were 800 damage a hit. Once this triggered, it went up to 1,350, sometimes 1,500. So it was a 50% attack increase. It could have even been more. I'm not even sure, but it was a huge attack increase. So this thing is amazing, and on top of it, it lasts for a really long time. So it's not a really short buff. It's actually a good minute that buff will last. So this thing is awesome. Also, you get extended elemental weapon. That's nice. And you get the bonus too for elemental attacks. That's really cool too. So overall, this thing is great. But also, you get 24 attunement slots. Now, when it comes to the yokai souls, I kind of don't want to talk about the main one I use. Anyone who's, playing the game, you know which one it is probably. But I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not even going to use it in this video. But let's just say that is extremely, extremely powerful. It can destroy bosses, and yeah, it's freaking good, man. It's really good. Now, my secondary spirit. I'm actually using this one for the lightning damage, honestly. That's just what it is. But, to be honest with you, there's another one that's really good. I'm not going to try to pronounce some of these names because I'm going to just destroy them, so let's not do that. This one is good because it gives you damage taken mid-attack, minus 7.5%. That's good. I like it, but I kind of like the lightning damage more. And this spirit is not bad either because this spirit gives you charge attack boost if you actually use it as your main spirit. So whenever you're charging up an attack like Rumbling Earth, it's going to give you an attack boost. But let me tell you, that attack boost is crap in comparison to the attack boost that you get from Tenji. Tenji is so much better. The only annoying thing about Tenji is that if you're using like other weapons where you like mid stance, you like low stance, you will not always have that attack increase because you have to be in high stance to actually get that. So that's the one downside of Tenji. But if you are in high stance a lot with your weapon, maybe you're using a Switchglaive. Switchglaive has a really good high stance, for example. This is amazing. This is like one of the best spirits. It's a phantom spirit too. That's the other downside. I think the brute spirit is the best for the burst counter, but I guess it's kind of, up to whoever. Alright, so that's the spirit. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about the soul cores because anyone who's been playing the game a lot, they probably know which one I'm using mainly, and it's overpowered, okay? But I don't want to talk about it because it might give some spoilers out and stuff. Now let's talk about the spells, okay? There's a lot to talk about here. Now the one ninja item I use is Quick Change. That's it. Quick Change, if you die, you come back to life. It's just like Nioh from Dark Souls. Super good. I have 3 of them on. That's why my dex is at 10. I'm able to equip 3 of them. Now, you can actually have multiple item shortcuts. You can have up to 4 item shortcuts. I prefer having 2. In Nioh 1, I didn't mind having 3 or 4 just because it was quicker to swap through them. In this game, it's a little bit more complicated. You have to hold down a button and use the D-pad to swap through your item shortcuts. I just kind of prefer only having 2 shortcuts. So what I do is I put the Quick Change on like the top slot where I normally would have elixirs. That way, if I do have a brain fart, all I'm doing is just replacing a Quick Change with a Quick Change, basically. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, for the actual magic spells, I'm using 4 lightning talismans. Okay, you can actually adjust this to, whatever you want. You could use 5 if you want. I'm using 2 weakness and 2 sloth. Once again, you can adjust this depending on, what you like, because I'm going to get to that in a moment. I have 4 rejuvenation. I love rejuvenation. It really is nice. I have 4 barrier. This is going to give me that crazy chi recovery. It also purify yokai realms. Really, really good. This is one that I would definitely say you might want 5 of, but it's up to you. And then the other thing I have on is extraction talisman. I have 1 of this on. Now you might be wondering why. Why do I have 1 of this on? This is for bosses. Because I'm using Tenji, we want to be able to absorb Amarita in the middle of a boss battle. So extraction talisman, this will come into effect anytime you fight a boss. Always use this for the boss, because if you're using Tenji, you want to be able to absorb that Amarita by hitting the boss, and now you got a big attack increase for the boss battle. So that's why I'm using that. But you only need 1. You don't really need a whole bunch of that. And then the other thing I have on right now is actually Luckbringer Talisman. It's not equipped though. I keep it unequipped because all I have to do actually is it's like, okay, I rested at the shrine, I'm going to buff up, and then just go to my items, and then go to the bottom, and just use it. I just use it. It lasts for a long time. But I'm using this primarily because, I want to get more loot. I want to get smithing techs, I just want to get more drops. So I like Luckbringer. I just use it. Now, if you take this off, that frees up a lot of space. It's like 5 Jutsu to actually equip that. So by taking it off, you can basically equip an extra rejuvenation, an extra barrier, and an extra lightning talisman if you want. Or you can go ahead and put more weakness or sloth on, whatever you want to do. So that's why I said you kind of have a little bit of freedom to play around with here. But I really do kind of recommend this setup because Luckbringer is great. It's really great. If you want to farm, use Luckbringer. It really does help a lot. Alright, so that's all the magic. There's one last thing I should talk about before I just will show some gameplay, and we will be done here. let me talk about my skill customization. But actually, I just thought about something. Titles. If you want to mimic this build, copy it, whatever, one thing you might have to do is reset your titles just to get rid of the chi bonus. If you've been grabbing a lot of chi bonus, you don't want that. You want to scrap that completely because we don't want chi on this build. So that's the only thing when it comes to titles. If you want to see what titles I have, I guess I'll show you. You can just see. So that's that one. And then if I scroll over, here's the other one. I actually do need to reset this though, because I got to get rid of that Amarita earned. I had that on there, and now I'm max level, so I could get rid of that and probably go for other realm resistance. You know, that's what I would more likely go for. I don't really like Yokai Shift. I don't have a problem with the fact I don't like it though, because Living Weapon in Nioh 1 was so overpowered, it kind of like spoiled the game a little bit, because no matter what you did, Living Weapon builds were always like the best builds. You know, that's kind of how it went. And because of that, that was kind of whack. Where in this game, Yokai Shift isn't really all that good, but I'm okay with it because, you know, Living Weapon was so overpowered that it kind of like ruined the experience in a lot of cases. Alright, let's talk about skill customization. This is going to be quick and easy. I'm not going to talk about all my skills, but what I do want to talk about is damage boost stat. Okay? Apparently, this is like a 5% boost. Even though I have 99 in magic or I have 99 in stamina, you will end up getting a 5% damage boost if you have 99 in that stat. That's not very good. But here's the thing. It's better than most everything else. I mean, what else are you going to put on, honestly? The best like damage increase is actually this one, which is 20% damage. But you take damage, okay? And when I use Rumbling Earth, it's like a third of my health. It's insane. I do not want to use this. And then there's another one too, which gives you 10%. Yeah, this one gives you 10%, but then you can't chi pulse. So it's like, okay, I want to chi pulse if I can. So that's kind of the thing. Like, there's really not like any good options here. So, you know, I say just use them. Like, you know, I've seen people like talking about this and they were saying, yeah, don't use them. I'm like, use them. 5% is better than like the one that gives you 20%, but then you kill yourself. Well, you don't kill yourself, but you lower your health so much that the enemies are going to kill you. That's not worth it at all. And not being able to chi pulse, in my opinion, is also kind of not worth it. Some skills maybe, but for a lot of skills, you don't want to not be able to chi pulse. So 5% is better than nothing. So go for that. And Heaven and Earth, I like to go for the Masterful Slice. This is actually a good one just because of chi damage. You know, like if somebody is guarding against me or if I'm hitting a yokai with this, it's going to do a crap ton of chi damage to them. And then this one, I think I have damage bonus stamina on there. You know, that's it. I don't really use Titanic Strength though. It's okay. It's just that I can't drain my like bar, you know, as easily with Titanic Strength compared to like the other ones. And also there's like Bear's Bane, I think is the name of it. That's an okay skill too, but once again, it's very hard to drain all your stamina with that. So, you know, and all the other skills here, I have Mad Spinner here. Like I said, the idea here is that I use Battle Focus and I have Mad Spinner, and Mad Spinner has the less, it does less damage, but in exchange it's less chi to perform. So if I want to use it, I can always do that. You know, it's fun, whatever. And I never use low stance. Like, I just will never use it with the axe. There's no point. This is a high stance build. So I think that's everything. Now, let me go ahead and hop into a Twilight mission. Now, when it comes to Twilight missions, by the way, they always level scale. So this is going to scale with me. It's going to lower my health. I don't think it lowers your damage, but it does, like, you know, mess with you to try to make it more fair. But that's good. You know, we want it to be fair because I am max level. But I'm going to go in here. I'm going to show you like what this build does in an actual mission. And this is a pretty quick mission, so that's actually really nice. So I'm going to cut this ahead and I will see you guys in a moment. Alrighty. You know, I just thought about something I did want to actually mention. So I just want to apologize because I forgot about this. I was talking about the customized skills and that 5% is better than nothing. There is one skill that Rumbling Earth could benefit from, potentially, if you want to, you know, use it. And that's actually this one, Desperate Strike. It restores 30% of your health from the damage dealt if you are dangerously low. So this could save your life. Like, literally, you could go for that when you're about to die, and if it goes off, you could literally heal up to full. That would fully heal you up. Like, no problem. But, I'll be honest with you, that rarely ever happens to me, so because of that, I just like the 5%. That's just the way I look at it. Alright, let's go smash some stuff. So, murder him. Let's rush this dude. If you can hit the crit, which I did, you get a huge number off those guys. It's ridiculous. Alright, smash! Nice. You gotta be careful with Rumbling Earth, though, okay? If the enemy jumps away from you, so some enemies, like that one, can jump away. If it jumps away from you, it's going to not do nearly as much damage, okay? Well, I mean, it still does a good amount of damage. It's just not going to probably one-shot if it jumps away. So you have to be a little bit careful about that. And there's a lot of enemies like that. Like up here, for example, this enemy. This enemy's going to try to jump away, watch. Okay, well, he didn't get away, though. And there's a stupid umbrella. I hate umbrellas. There we go. Now let's go ahead and rebuff while we got time. That's the annoying thing. That's why Obsidian Knight is potentially a pretty good one piece here. Just losing that damage, though, man. Nobody wants to lose that damage. Ah! Freaking drop kicked me from the top rope. Oh, God. Get out of here with that. Die! There you go. Alright, so now let's go ahead and move on. Next up is going to be some enemies and then the boss. So that should be fun. Now, when it comes to the boss, I'm pretty sure I might be able to literally just do one power attack or strong attack and then do Rumbling Earth, and it might just flat out kill it. Now, you know, I'll be honest with you, against a lot of bosses, I do like to use my yokai ability. They will probably nerf that one yokai ability, though. So, that is something. But still, it can put them in confusion really easily, which I really like, you know. That's one of the things I really like about that one. Alright, watch out. Get out of the way. Smash him. Let's go ahead and do this now. And we're going to sloth and weakness here. So, sloth, weakness. Okay, let's try to... Normally, it's best to try to run behind the boss if possible. Boom. Okay, it didn't do what I thought it would, but as you can see, still. Absolutely ridiculous, guys. This build is insane. It really is. But I knew it was going to be honest with you, just because I used it a lot in Nioh 1, and I was having so much fun with it, and I was like, dude, that's the first build I'm going to try to make in Nioh 2, and it worked out great. Alrighty guys, well that's going to do it for the video. I really hope that you have enjoyed it and that it has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? I really do appreciate it. And also be sure to subscribe, and if you do subscribe, please click the bell. If you click the bell, you can stay notified. I'm going to actually try to do a bunch of builds for Nioh 2. I guess it depends on how well these videos do, but if I get enough support, I will definitely try to do a ton of builds for this game, because I love Nioh. It's one of my favorite games. It really is. But that's going to do it for me. I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.